Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Is anybody here? I don't even know if anybody's in here. But today we're gonna talk about a few different things. We're gonna talk about what I've been doing for the past week or 2 weeks, I guess, since I wasn't on here last week. We'll talk about this leaked speckled trout. Uh, what was it called? The speckled trout population assessment that came out in Louisiana Sportsman magazine like last week. It came out, and we're gonna talk about what I'm doing tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow and I'm going fishing tomorrow. So we're gonna talk about my plans for tomorrow. What you guys' plans are for tomorrow? So we're gonna give it a little minute, let some people get on here, see what y'all talking about. Where y'all went fishing this past week? If y'all went fishing, I know somebody had to go do something. What up, Nate? What up, Nate? Anybody else in here? Shout yourself out. Let me know you're here. We're gonna get started. But this past week, I took a little trip out with old Charlie Mutter. What up, Joey? Going fishing tomorrow, Joey. We took a trip with Charlie Mutter out to the Long Rocks. We ran down the old back canal, and then once we got out, I think I told you about the trip I took with what up, Dan? Reggio been good? The water's clean back there? Nice. Yeah, that water gets real hot back there because it's so shallow. But it usually gets real clean in the summertime. You get out there early. If you get out there early, the Reds will usually play with you in the summertime. I've been neglecting my kayak lately. I've been riding the boat exclusively. It's hot to be out in the kayak in the afternoon. So yeah, I've been riding the kayak in the boat. Man, what's up, Gustavo? Still haven't got your boat in the water yet? Man, you don't need a boat down where you at. You could probably fish off the bank and catch all kind of cool stuff. But yeah, that's how it gets in the summertime, especially down in Reggio Delacour area. It gets real clean down there, Dan. I'm gonna have to go sneak out there one afternoon or something if I can get out there. But I took my trip. When was that? Last Tuesday. Took the day off. We went out to the Long Rocks. We got a really late start this time. We didn't get out. We didn't launch the boat till like 6:30, maybe after that. But we got out to the rocks at like 7 o'clock, and we just fished like right up in this little general area. There were just tons and tons and tons of little trout. I think we ended up keeping 10, but we probably caught like 100 of them. It was every cast. As soon as you hit the water, as soon as your lure hit the water, your cork would go under. And the fish were too small though to even really swallow the bait. They would they would spit it back up as soon as they hit it. But there are tons of little trout out there. We did do a little venture. So we spent about, I don't know, we probably spent like 45 minutes fishing right up in this little area. But then after that, we ventured down the rocks and we got on some good keepers. But by that time, it was probably like 9 o'clock. The bite was really tippering off. But we had fun. We had a quick little trip. We got back probably about 12 o'clock to the launch. Got out of there. And what else I've been doing? That's good, Gustavo, man. I would just risk it. Like you said the other day, just risk it till they tell you something. I'm sure they're not going to rush you for fishing. What else did I do? Oh, Sunday. Sunday, I went ran around the lake. Oh, man, I got all my stuff on. These are all the reefs in the lake, by the way. I usually don't show all this. But I went and ran around the lake. There are some algae blooms, but it's real spotty. So if you fish Lake Pontchartrain, the algae blooms aren't everywhere. You just gotta avoid them, and if you get in them, get out of them. But I ran all the way from Seabrook. I ran all the way to the trestle in my boat, and water was beautiful. Whoa, water was beautiful. They had tons of pogies in the water, like nice size, hand sized pogies. So the jacks and the sharks and all that cool stuff that usually comes in the lake, I feel like they should come in soon, even with the fresh water. Those type of fish that come in the lake don't really mind fresh water anyway. Like jacks will come in fresh water, sharks will come in fresh water. So that should be popping off soon. But yeah, and tomorrow I got the day off tomorrow, so I plan to be fighting the crowd. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna launch out of the I'm gonna launch out of Fort Pike, my favorite launch, and I'm gonna run out and see if we can find some triple tail with the fresh water around. That's gonna be a interesting trip. I'm not sure if they're gonna be even out there with all the fresh water that's in the Mississippi Sound, but I was looking at the world view. All right, there we go. I was looking at the world view image, and I was looking at the world view, and you can see like out here is like Half Moon Island, Mississippi Sound. The dirty water, fresh water, kind of ends right there. So I'm thinking we'll be able to run out of the Wrigley's and get outside of this dirty water and try to mess around out here if the wind isn't too bad. Maybe we'll even try to sneak out to Isle of Pete, see if we can catch a few trout out here at Isle of Pete. But if I do that, I'm definitely going to record. I'm gonna film tomorrow, so look out for that. I do have a video of my last Tuesday trip too that's coming very soon. Probably tonight I'll probably get it out. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to my trip tomorrow. Nah, Joy, we ain't going to we're gonna go to the other spot, the better spot out here, Isle of Pete. We're gonna try to if my brother comes early enough, we're gonna try to sneak out there. But we'll probably have to launch at about 4:30 to get out there for a decent time. It's like a 30-mile boat ride, which ain't that bad, but yeah, it's a cool little spot. It's out pretty much at the Chandelier Islands, damn near. Like it's out in the middle of nowhere, and they got some solid trout out there. That's what is this? Cat Island? I'm pretty sure that is what that is. Oh, why is my computer lagging so much today? Yeah, that's Cat Island. You get into some nice clear blue water. Another, what is that? Like another 6 miles, you'll be at the Chandelier Islands. But it's kind of a good middle ground in between inshore and all and out there at the Chandelier. So I don't know. We might make it out there, depending on how the wind blows. But it does look like the clean water is like right past Half Moon Island. So if we can get out to like this area, maybe there'll be a few triple tail lurking, a few Spanish mackerel. We'll see what's out there. I haven't been out there yet this summer, so I'll let you know next Wednesday what we did. But anybody else been fishing lately? Joe, and you went out, right? Joe, what you did? Did you go to Grand Isle this past weekend? I saw some pictures. Was that this past weekend or was that last weekend? My buddy Jimbo Gasoline, he's usually on here sometimes. He sent me some pictures. He snuck out today down to Empire and he fished out at Empire and caught some nice solid trout. Looks like there's a nice red in there too. So the fish are out there. You just gotta have time to go get them. And we gotta. Seems like you gotta get right on the edge of the Gulf this year, since we got all this fresh water pumping out everywhere. But Empire is a pretty cool spot. Going to Hopedale Friday. Hey, Vic, you back in town, man? We're gonna have to link up. Caught a few, Join. Did y'all fish the surf at all? Any, Join? I've been wondering about the surf. Everybody's been raving about the surf. I know my buddy Josh went down there and absolutely destroyed him somewhere down there in Grand. He didn't tell me exactly where he went, but he said he went down there, caught a nice stringer. He had some pictures online, stringer of trout. I'm sure the island is jam packed now. Ain't it the Tarpon Rodeo this weekend? 4th of July. Anybody going down there for that? Festivities? Let me see. When is the Grand Isle Tarpon Rodeo? I thought it was always like 4th of July weekend. Oh no, it's not till July 25th. All right, cool. What's the blue boot? I don't know what that is. Damn. Going out of Myrtle Grove, Dylan. What up, Dylan? What up, David? Wait, where's the satellite? Let's see. Here we go. Where's Myrtle Grove at? You can't really see, man. It's not. It's kind of obscured a little bit, Dylan. Yeah, that was our problem down in Hopedale, David. There was tons of small trout, and we got a late start. So by the time we found the bigger trout, the bite was dying down. Uh, but we probably caught 100. We probably caught about 100 throwbacks this past. What was that? Last Tuesday, July 1st. That's the day. Which picture is it? Oh yeah, here. This one's a little better. Yeah, that's cloudy. This one's a little better. It looks pretty clean, actually, Dylan. On this picture, this is July 1st. It looks real clean, like Myrtle Grove area. Man, you gotta make it down to the Empire Jetties. That's what Jimbo's saying. I don't know if you were here when I was showing the pictures earlier. I'll show them again. Jimbo went down to Empire. Oh, down to Empire and caught some nice solid trout. That's probably like a 20-something inch trout right there. Look like that's a red underneath it, and it's bigger than the red. So yeah, maybe try down there, Dylan. If you can get a little further out. What's that spot? Where's Myrtle Grove at? Myrtle Grove. No, that's Lake Hermitage. Myrtle Grove. Yeah, like out these areas, like I don't know, maybe it'd be good. Damn, man, that's the worst. When you break down and you gotta putt back to the launch and it'd be hot as hell. Trust me, that's happened a couple times to me. One time we were down the Long Rocks with my dad. I don't think my dad been on my boat since. We broke down and we had to putt all the way back. And it was like we were baking down there, like Thanksgiving turkey. We were dying. But let's get to the main event, what I wanted to talk about. I got my little Louisiana Sportsman magazine this week. Or was that last week I got it? I got it last week. They had the report about the speckled trout and all the problems they're having with the speckled trout they were talking about. So let's see. Let me move this out of the way. So they had that report come out. Can y'all read that? I really just wanted to show you the pictures, the tables. But they had a report come out, and they said it leaked. What? This was last week, so I know most of y'all probably read it. I know Dan was talking about it on Facebook. I caught his little post on Facebook. There's a lot of discussion going on about it right now online. Guys arguing over what's the best course of action, but basically what's going on is that they did some sampling of the trout and um, this table right here, this is the spawning. Wait, let me see. I have my notes right here. This table shows the spawning stock biomass. So this table shows how many there are out there that can actually spawn. And right now we're right here by this yellow dot. So 2020 is the lowest. I mean 2019 is the lowest measured. What? Why does it keep changing? Why? I don't want to watch no video of it. The lowest measured spawning mass of spawning fish since 19. They've been measuring since 1983, and it's the lowest ever. And right now it's super low. It looks like. Now they did say when I was reading the article, they said there was like some errors in it. They said there was some errors in this preliminary preliminary tabulation or whatever, but they said it's still going to be low. It's not going to correct it fully. And you can see it's been declining for the past 10 years. Looks like since about 2010, it's been on a steady decline. Well, really, and if you look even further back, since the year 2000 when it was at its peak, it's been declining steadily over the years. There was a little rebound like after 2005, but 2005 to 2010, it kind of bounced back up, but then it's continued to trend downward. So this table is in millions of pounds. So at its peak in 2000, 2001, there's like 11, 11 million pounds of spawning class fish, and now in 2019 we're down to a little bit over 2 million pounds. So that's kind of scary when you think about it. And I think it's definitely going to lead to changes down the road. Like our 25 fish limit is definitely going to have to be adjusted. And I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference, but you got to do it just at least to say you tried something, right? So definitely some changes are going to be coming. But this stuff is really interesting to me. This type of stuff I really geek out over. You got to do like Louisiana Blackwater said, go catch more sockeye. That probably would help because it seems like everybody talks about, too many fish, redfish, speckled trout down here in Louisiana, and most people focus on, those inshore species. The yellow dot is 18. Oh, 17 was the lowest. Oh, so it's rebounded a little bit since. Ah, you're right. You're right, Mike. Thanks for checking that out. So yeah, it does look like we're on a little bit of an uptick. So then figure two, what was figure two? I also think this has something to do with it coincides with like land loss though. If you look at it, I think our biggest problem that we're having right now, the biggest issue we have like down here in South Louisiana is the land loss. And you can if we've been losing land, we've been losing land at like a steady rate for the past 20 years, 40 years probably, maybe even longer than that, but it seems like the land loss has accelerated over the past 20 years. So we're losing a lot of habitat where speckled trout could spawn and grow up. So of course we're gonna lose biomass and we're gonna lose population. So that's a huge part of the problem. Like if you look like in Delacroix and even out here like Biloxi Marsh area, this area used to be a lot more land, a lot more ponds where the fish could really grow and establish themselves. So that's probably our number one issue we need to change. I think, uh, in addition to changing limits and changing creel limits and size requirements, I think we got to really focus on rebuilding the marsh. Philip, what we talking about? Water's not bad in Bienvenue. I haven't heard many reports from Bienvenue lately. kind of a winter fishery nowadays, unless you're gonna go bass fishing. But yeah, let's continue. What we was talking about? Figure two. So figure two, where did I had this thing labeled. Oh, okay. So figure two shows the same shit. So figure three, that was the one. So you can see in figure three that they had. This is all on LouisianaSportsman.com, by the way. You can go and check them out for yourself and really read the article and understand what they're talking about. Why is not letting me zoom right now? But in figure three, they had the red line. The red line is the commercial fishing landings, and the black line is the recreational landings uh, over the years. And you can see that commercial fishing pretty much doesn't exist for speckled trout anymore. But even though the commercial fishing was wiped out, was eradicated, the recreational landings have increased probably beyond what the commercial guys were doing in the past. So we're definitely taking more fish, but you can see the correlation that as the population dies, people are catching a lot less trout. So even though there's more people fishing, we're catching less fish over the years. And you can also see there's something interesting too is that fishing mortality has risen over the years. So the more people fishing, the more fish are dying as it goes. So that's pretty much what that means. But you can see that how it just drops off because people aren't catching as many fish, which is crazy. Is insane to me. But also another interesting thing about these figures was like at least in my experience, I used to fish a lot off the bank in Lake Pontchartrain off the South Shore, and we used to do really well just fishing off the bank, especially like the Seabrook area, all those areas. So um, if you look at what, let's see, let me do this real quick. There we go. There we go. All right. So if you're looking at the table here, you can see like back in the day when I used to fish the lakefront, these years, I guess I probably started right around here. We were catching limits of trout during these years, and now it kind of mirrors my experiences out there, where when you get to like 2010 and on, it got really hard to catch speckled trout off the South Shore, off the steps, off the bank in that Seabrook. So it's pretty interesting because all this makes sense to me now when I'm looking at these tables to how fishing has gone over the past years in Lake Pontchartrain especially. And I think Lake Pontchartrain was one of the areas where they tested heavily. Lake Pontchartrain was one of the areas where they tested heavily to get these numbers and get this information. So maybe it's not true for everywhere. Well, now we got some good information exchanging down here in the comments. What's going on? Bo. Yeah, that's true too, Dan. I always forget about that. The rock dam at the Mr. Go down in Hopedale, and then the wall at There's a couple walls actually. The wall at Chalmette, and then there's also that lock that they put in at the Seabrook and the lake right there. All that stuff prohibits the fish from moving as easily. And so yeah, it kills the migration route. You're right, man. That's also the year that the 2010 was also the last year I caught a lot of flounder, which is interesting. I don't know if the flounder stock coincides with the speckled trout stock. Similar, they have similar. They do live in similar environments and have similar requirements. So I'm guessing that's probably, if you did a study on flounder, it would probably be a similar decline. So what else they was talking about in here that I found interesting? Oh yeah, this one right here. They were talking about how the bigger trout have disappeared, and that's also been something that I've observed. Um, this is age 3 and older in the population. It kind of mirrors the other the other table because it's spawning age fish that was measured in the other table. When your bigger fish are going to be older fish. But it's just interesting how all this stuff is declining because it seemed like it wouldn't be a. I don't know why there's a correlation between the older fish and the. Like it seemed like the age of the fish would stay distributed evenly, even though the population was declining. But I don't know. Maybe I don't understand why that's like that. Anybody can explain that to me? Why the proportion of older fish declined with the decline in the population? Seems like the proportion should maintain or stay the same. But I guess if more fish are dying, you're gonna have younger fish in the population, because that's what the other table said, right? Right. Yeah, this one right here said that more fish were dying over the year. I don't know. Anybody got any input? Anybody got any comments? What you think they should do? Anybody think that this is all just a hoax? I think everybody should quit fishing. Leave the fish for me. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's. I don't think it's on the online thing though. I think it's only in the magazine. I have it right here. Where is it? It's like a different page. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is interesting. Pretty much, yeah. I think they were saying that trout can spawn at 12 inches. So the reason that it's set at 12 inches is that allows them to spawn for 1 year they can be before they can be harvested. So I think this might be the table you were talking about. I don't know if it's online. I didn't see it online, but this goes through like by size, like a 12-inch trout. It makes 278,000 eggs per batch, and it'll spawn 9 times per season. So that's whoa, this is tricky. So that's what 2,500,000 eggs per season, whereas a 14-inch trout you pretty much double it, and then what is this? An 18-inch trout you get 8 million, almost 9 million eggs per season. So the bigger the trout, the more eggs it produces, and that's something that people always said. I definitely think that the freshwater inundation has skewed the numbers a little bit because if we're getting a lot more fresh water, the trout are going to be further out. So the places where they're sampling, like Lake Pontchartrain, what are the other places they sample? Lake Calcasieu, Barataria Basin, uh, And then what was the other place? Lake Calcasieu, Mermentau. Like all those places are really freshwater, have a lot of freshwater influx. They all have like rivers feeding them or diversions in them. So Mike, that could definitely be the reason why these numbers are so low when when it doesn't really seem like the population. Like as a fisherman, it doesn't seem like the trout are that scarce compared, like half like the table is saying. Yeah, I definitely think that the freshwater has skewed these numbers a little bit lower than what they should be. But then you got to think about is that damn, what I was about to say. This is gonna be the norm now, because like the way development is happening up the river, that's gonna make the river higher every year. Like I was listening to this thing where they were saying that people that historically haven't had levees further north are building levees to protect their houses. So like up in what's like Iowa and places like that, where it's usually just farmland. They're building levees, so then it's channeling more water down the river. So we're going to end up with more water down here, more river water every year down here that would normally just flood out farmland up north. So that's part of the reason why we've been opening the spillway a lot more often. Yeah, I think they should be creative, Salter. They got to be creative, I think, with the limit. I think to me, to be honest with you, I think in the wintertime, I think they need to drop the limit. They could, have it fluctuate throughout the year. So in the wintertime when guys are going to that same hole and just banging banging on the banging on all the big trout in the wintertime, I think they should lower the limit to 10 fish or 5 fish or whatever and be real strict with them because I feel like the wintertime is when people really put a hurting on them when they're coming in close. So if you can be I think I feel like that's the time, but I'm not an expert on this. I don't have any like scientific background or real knowledge on this stuff. But just as a fisherman and as somebody who likes to fish for speckled trout, I feel like the winter time is when you really need to protect them. I think you could go in the summertime and have a 25 fish limit, but in the winter, I think you probably should bring it down to 10 or 15 or whatever and have a real slot. Like, what's going on? Damn, I'm having trouble finding baby trout. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of babies out there. Like I said, I went last Tuesday with Charlie and my buddy Mac, and we caught 100 speckled trout, but they were all 11 inches, 11 and a half inches. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of trout out there. It's just the size is not there, and so I don't know I don't know what you would do to grow them. And there's tons of bait out there too. When you go out, like when we went out to Hopedale to the rocks, there's bait everywhere. Like you can't fish. Like usually I like to fish, I like to look for bait and look for birds diving and usually that's where the fish will be. But out there, there's just bait literally everywhere. Especially like you run into the marsh, there's just pogies just covering like these whole big bays, shorelines. You can't really just pick a pot of bait and fish it and expect fish to be on it because it's bait, so much bait. But yeah, I definitely think the wintertime, that's when the trout are getting really hit hard. That's when they're getting really smashed. You could go to Florida, 15-inch minimum, 1/20. Yeah, that would definitely increase the size, I think. But down here, Louisiana is so different, so much different than Florida because we have so much more habitat, so much more area for the fish to grow and spawn and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily think that we have to be as strict as Florida. I just think that we got to be smart and strategic with how we do it. Like when I lived in Virginia, they had the striped bass population like had been pretty much wiped out. What up, Win? the striped bass population of Chesapeake Bay had pretty much been wiped out, and so they got really strict and they like closed the season. You couldn't harvest any. And over the years, the population came back. So they were smart and they really figured out what they needed to do to get the population to bounce back. So they had to, they closed the season for them for a few years. And then as time went on, the population rebounded, but they're still pretty strict on them where certain months out of the year, it'll be closed season. Other parts of the year, you can't use barb hooks. So you can use only barbless hooks and it's only catch and release. Then there's other parts of the year where you can keep one over so many inches and you can only keep one over like 30 inches. So they're real particular about how they manage the harvest of the fish. And I think that's the way we're gonna have to be in Louisiana now because people have gotten so good at fishing like years ago and boats have gotten so good where you can get to anywhere. You can find the fish, you can see them on your fish finder. The fish don't have anywhere to hide anymore. So that population that was untouched is probably being touched nowadays, especially since we're losing habitat so fast too. Uh, we've got less places for the fish to hide. What do I think about buying up water? I think that's completely wrong. Buying up all the property and gating stuff off. I think that's definitely that's got to change too. It's gonna kill the whole industry, the whole lifestyle down here because the wealthy, the people who can own land are going to be the only ones that are going to be allowed to fish. Yeah, I think they're going to have to do something. Like if the numbers are accurate, what they say they are, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something just to say they tried something. Like otherwise, it would just be like you just letting it go and letting it die. What up, Matt? What Matt saying? Levees south of NOLA have been neglected. Yeah, that's definitely part of the problem. The levees and the way we manage the river has not been updated with our knowledge of how the river works and how the ecosystem and our environment works down here. Like our knowledge of how the river builds the marsh and how the marshes get eaten away now, we should be adjusting a lot faster, I think, to how we are impacting the environment. Yeah, definitely Salta. Like I wasn't around back then, but I definitely read stories and heard the stories about how the redfish were pretty much extinct and how they got them back to a nice thriving population. And it seems like right now they could raise the limit of redfish and we'd be all right. So I definitely think we got good scientists out there who can figure out the problem and put in some good policy and fix what the issue is. Yeah, Matt. I don't know. You just gotta be careful though. My parents, they live on the river. They live like one in the first block off the levee in Algiers. And when you drive down that river road, you can see water seeping through the levee in certain spots. It's kind of scary. It's real scary. But yeah, you definitely when you drive up and down there, there's like wet spots, and you like it didn't rain, hasn't rained for like a month, but the river's been high, so that water is definitely seeping through the levee right there. What else we got going on? The freshwater definitely has an impact. The freshwater is definitely spreading the fish out and putting them in places where they aren't normally gonna be. And if you look at areas like Lake Pontchartrain, you look at like all up in Bayou Avenue and down Hopedale area, there's areas where historically there were oyster beds, or like in the recent past there were oyster beds in a lot of these ponds, and now they're just chock full of grass, and they got bass and lake runners and perch and shell crack, all kind of stuff in those ponds that weren't there like 10, 15 years ago. So definitely the ecology is changing when they put up these walls and hold the fresh water back or hold the salt water out. Uh, So that's definitely going to affect how the speckled trout are spawning, and maybe they just need time to figure out the new places to spawn. Cause like I know years ago there are probably trout that were spawning in the Bayou Bienvenue area that aren't spawning there now because of the fresh water. What we're having, speaking of strips, who's bluff Saturday? Oh man, I've been wanting to try out there. I heard there was some big striped bass out there. Where is it? Is this it? No, it's further up. Yeah, Blackwater. I heard that it's better. It's better to go for those stripers like later in the year. Like once it gets to like August, once the pearl really drops down, somewhere up in here. Where's the slider? I think the water's real high right here. But yeah, they said you can get somewhere on this sill right here and fish the white water and and do pretty good. Yeah, I've been wanting to go. I miss my stripers. I spent 2 years fishing for stripers up there in the Chesapeake Bay. Never caught a real big one, but they were fun. I have caught I've caught one in Lake Pontchartrain since one true striper in Lake Pontchartrain since I've been back. But yeah, I heard that that's the spot to go to get them. Well, I don't know, guys. This is just really interesting to me. I like the little scientific aspect of the fishing world. I like to read a lot about like fish's biology and how they behave. Nah, man, I don't do any hunting. I never hunted in my life. I probably shouldn't hunt. If I start hunting, I'm probably gonna really be broke because I spend all my money on fishing shit already. If I start buying hunting stuff, it's gonna be over for me. But yeah, I like the scientific aspect. Anytime anything like that comes out, I geek out over it. I really immerse myself in it, trying to learn it and understand it, because that's really the basis of fishing is knowing what the fish want to do. Yeah, man, that salinity level changed a lot once they started putting the Great Wall in conjunction with the Hopedale Dam. Both of those really changed how the Mr. Go worked. Because before the Mr. Go was a straight shot from the Gulf, from out here, the super salinity water, high salinity water, straight into the lake. So yeah, once they put those walls in, that impeded the flow and changed the tidal movement. In fact, I think the tide switched. So before on a rising tide, the water used to go into the lake, but I think now on a rising tide, the water flows out of Lake Pontchartrain from Seabrook. So it, like the tide movement switched, which is crazy. It's pretty amazing that they were able to build something to do that. That could have that effect. Uh, well, all right, guys. I gotta go ahead and go rig my rides up for tomorrow. I haven't started doing that yet. I got the boat all put together, but now I gotta go rig my rides up. I'm gonna be at the. I'm gonna go try and see if I can find a triple tail maybe in the morning, or if I wake up early enough, and my brother gets over here early enough, I want to try to sneak out to Isle of Peak if we can make it, if we got time. Shark fishing on Grand Isle. I don't know, man. I never fished Grand Isle shark fishing wise. I all my shark fishing experiences like Lake Pontchartrain, uh, Lake Bourne area sharks. But I'm sure you can catch a shark in Grand Isle right now. It's probably pretty easy to catch one if you wanted to. All right, guys. Yeah, I'll let y'all know how we did next Wednesday. I got a video, trout fishing video with Charlie that I told y'all all about. Y'all probably don't have to watch it now. Got that trout fishing video coming out tonight. All right, Dan, you have a good one. Have a good one, Jay Salter. All right, Nate. Who else was in here and stayed with us all night? Thanks for staying. Thanks for listening to me ramble, talking randomly out the top of my head. We'll have a meetup soon. Hopefully, I'll get some time off. We'll have to do a meetup. Let everybody meet each other, catch some fish together. Hopefully, before the beach bite shuts down, maybe we'll sneak out down to Grand Island, fish off the beach or something. But yeah, we have to get out there, guys. Hopefully, y'all have a good Fourth. Hopefully, y'all go fishing tomorrow. Just kick back, drink a few brews, hang with the family. That's what I'm gonna do after I go fishing. So yeah, we'll be here next Wednesday at nine. Or no, next Wednesday at 8:30. Hopefully, we have some nice reports. Hopefully, y'all have some good reports to shoot back at us. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Tight lines. Don't catch all the speckled trout.